I got to bring this up. You're gonna get mad at me, but
That's okay.
I got some people texting me, especially our guy Ryan, big IU fan. He
About the
just wants to know,
SEC?
he wants to know Lance's thoughts on the big bad SEC. Now I mean,
I'm
and
glad
to
he
his
texted you that.
to his point,
It's time.
yeah. I mean, since the Penn State SMU game, right, and maybe a little bit of the Texas Clemson game, but I'm not sure there's been a conference and more. And this, I'm saying this with the fact that I know the SEC is still great. Everybody, okay, but there's not been a conference, I guess, having lost more traction than the SEC has since that Ohio State Tennessee game. Obviously, what's happened in the bowl games, what nearly happened in Atlanta yesterday, which we're going to talk about next. But people are asking Lance, like he wants to know what's up with the big bad SEC.
All right, man. I'm gonna pull a Josh Pate here. That you can go back into the episode and clip it on 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the term, if you're able to dish it out, that you got to be able to take it. There's nobody that dishes out more smack talk, including myself, in college football as far as conference like supremacy and trying to rep a conference than the SEC. It's been going on for a really long time. And here in the first year of the 12-team playoff, you had the 3 teams that didn't get in to the college football playoff and all the talk surrounding that, how they should have been in and how there should be more SEC teams just because they're in the SEC and they play a much tougher schedule. And there's so much more, like there's the best teams in the country are all in the SEC, so on, so on, so on. And then they come out here in this bowl season and in this college football playoff and just embarrass themselves. And I mean, Texas is the team now carrying the flag for the SEC.
And they hate that.
Hoops would have thunk it,
Yeah.
Josh Pate. But yeah, as I'll say it, us as SEC fans, there's nobody that's excited about that. The fact that Texas is the one now carrying the flag here and going into this Final Four for the SEC.
And now they got to play Ohio State, and more than likely, you're not going to see. I mean, unless Texas pulls the upset, you're not going to see an SEC team in the first 12-team playoff championship.
No. And look, it's still a great conference, and there's still the best talent in the country and all that stuff. Like this bowl season doesn't, get rid of that, but it absolutely does raise the red flag and puts the Southeastern Conference and our fans on notice that the NIL world and the transfer portal has absolutely closed the gap. It just has. I know some people have been making jokes. Well, now that everybody can pay their players, that it's a lot more even now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that NIL and the transfer portal has absolutely it's leveled the playing field more. Some of these SEC teams, like again, your Alabamas, your Georgias, they don't have first string, second string, third string, fourth string like they used to, of just 5-star talent sitting there waiting 3 years to wait for the next man up for their turn to play. They're going other places to get an opportunity to play immediately. And some of them are going to these other teams in these other conferences. And then on top of that, you've got teams like you said, like a Notre Dame, who does recruit well and develops well and has a really good coaching staff. And they take 3 or 4 little spots like, man, you know what? We need a quarterback. So let's go get this dog in Riley Leonard. We need another receiver. Let's go get this cat that catches a touchdown here in the Georgia game, like you said. We need another edge rusher. Let's go get this guy from Duke, who was a really good edge rusher at Duke last year. You get 3 or 4 guys to piece it together. And yeah, so my message to all my fellow SEC fans and friends, look, we all dish it out. Take the medicine. Take the medicine and just deal with it right now.
Yeah. We're going to have all off season to talk about it, but it's going to be interesting just going into next year. Kind of just this
got choked up a little bit. I got a cough. Hang on.
this storyline here, because I think if they had gone out and those Ole Miss looks like they're probably going to take care of business against Duke tonight. Alabama.
See, they should have been in the playoff.
Yeah, Alabama and South Carolina losing. I think if they would have gone out and just kind of dominated their games, Georgia and Texas, make it to the semifinals, maybe even the championship game, meet up for a third time. Like, obviously, you could have said, yeah, see, we told you. And now it's kind of just like, okay, maybe you weren't right. Like, obviously, there's other teams. Like, I know what Ryan's getting at. He wants an apology. He wants an apology to everybody who crapped all over Indiana for losing to Ohio State and Indiana and went out and beat Michigan. And, I know they didn't beat anybody, great, but it's just they want their voices to be heard too.
Can I ask? I'm honest. I don't remember. I don't think that I did. Like we were kind of like at one point. I think we had people messaging.
Apology from us. We were the biggest IU fans.
I was going to say we had people messaging us wanting to know if we were an Indiana podcast at one point earlier this year.
Yeah,
and we had people messaging us wanting to know if we were a Penn State podcast at one point this year. So we've been fair to everybody, but anybody that listens to this show knows that my allegiance. That I'm an Alabama fan that graduated from the University of Alabama. So of course we're fans just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But I think we do a pretty dang good job of covering this from a non-biased perspective and just talking about the sport in general. I know sometimes I come across as the biggest bammer there is, and I get it. I get why somebody would think that. But at the end of the day, Notre Dame just went into the heart of the South and just punked Georgia in, as you call it, the Sugar Dome. And so, and to Ryan's point, and to any Indiana fan, I'd have a bad taste in my mouth too. That, like, okay, I would want to know, is Kirk Herbstreit going to come on Twitter tonight and do a live hit on X and say that Georgia didn't belong for losing by double digits to Notre Dame like that?
Yeah.
If I was an Indiana fan, I would want that. I would get that. I would understand that. So again, take the medicine. All of the trash that's been talked, got to eat it.
Yeah.
Got to eat it.
What a beautiful sport, man. What a beautiful sport.